Hello and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts 3 Spoilercast. On the last episode, our hosts just finished talking about all the Disney worlds for the most part, and now they're going to discuss the final world, the Keyblade Graveyard, and Scala at Kylum, while jumping around at random to talk about a bunch of different stuff. So please enjoy.
I finished the last world and was like, no wonder any critic who didn't play the previous games hated this, because the last 6 hours are just a satisfying conclusion to every single plot thread.
And KZ lucked the fuck out here, good sir. But this really is what if Metal Gear Solid 4 was good?
I don't know how people feel about Metal Gear Solid 4 to a degree. I'm like, is this what that was? Was it a really satisfying conclusion where everything wanted happened?
No, imagine imagine that Xehanort was faking it the whole time.
MGS4 is Kojima punishing you because he didn't want to make this fucking game, so now you will suffer.
Kojima wanted to make a conclusion to a story, and he did not know what that meant, so it just crawls way up its own ass and ties literally everything together when it absolutely doesn't need to the point of not making any sense at all.
That's literally deliberate, Dan. He's punishing you because he wanted to be done with 2, and then he made 3, and then well, you gotta make 4, so he's like, well, none of you got 2, so I'm going to ruin all of it.
So here's the thing, if that was the case, then the original ending of Snake and Otacon go to prison to pay for their crimes would have gone in, instead of the dev staff being what the fuck is wrong with you, and him backpedaling.
I think he wasn't allowed.
But yeah, you're really lucky that this doesn't have that bullshit, I need to tie everything together and explain it in the lamest way possible. For example, here's one tiny slice of Metal Gear Solid 4 to illustrate how much worse Kingdom Hearts 3 could have gone. Vamp is established in Metal Gear Solid 2 as a fucking vampire who's crushed by a cross in a church and has to survive by drinking blood for, I don't know, it's 2 days. Something like that.
That's wrong.
It really is, and you find this out through a codec conversation.
But his name isn't Vamp because he's a vampire. His name is Vamp because he's a bisexual. That's a line in Metal Gear Solid 2.
It's true. That is true.
Should I play Metal Gear Solid?
Yes. But now I have to guide you through it. Now it's my turn to protect you, Casey.
Oh my god,
all those games are a lot shorter than Kingdom Hearts, so it'd be fine.
It's true. But Metal Gear Solid 4 feels longer. So another thing that happens in Metal Gear Solid 2 is you have a boss fight with Vamp in a room where the water it's impossible to swim in the water because the water is hyper oxygenated. So if you jump into it, you just sink immediately, okay? Mm-hmm. Vamp is so strong and majestic and supernatural. He is swimming all the way through it and doing dolphin flips through the air and shit.
He can actually walk on top of it.
He can also walk on top of it. So to explain how bad Metal Gear Solid 4 is, having established that, they explain all of his powers as being nanomachines.
Yep.
Even though that makes absolutely no sense.
Oh, that's why everyone laughs at the nanomachine sun scene in fucking
yes,
because Metal Gear Revengeance is too fucking smart, and it is a parody of Kojima writing. I don't know if Kojima wrote it. He can write it, but it is a parody of how bad 4 was.
I've heard a lot of people say that he totally didn't write that.
I think he absolutely wrote that.
After playing 4 and playing a chunk of 5 and watching the rest, I don't know how the man who wrote those wrote Revengeance by himself. I feel like it's a very platinum aesthetic to have a game that level of dumb.
Respectable.
But
we're getting way off. We're going on.
No, I just needed to explain before we got into the most Metal Gear Solid 4 part of this game how much worse it could have gone.
What I want to open this with is a lot of people are very averse to spoilers when it comes to games.
Yes.
And they were saying Nomura's a hack. He's spoiled so much in this final battle trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Psych, none of that's canon.
That final battle trailer was cut together to give me a completely different impression of what happened.
Surprise, that's the false ending scenario that you watched.
Yeah, I mean, it does lead you to believe something like Sora dying and going to the final world is the natural progress of what is to occur. So when that occurs, it's completely normal. I was gonna ask real quick. Did you guys grab 111 swords and leave?
I grabbed more than that. I did not grab a significant amount more. I don't know if something happens if you get more.
You keep getting upgrades for every multiple of that core number you get. So for 222 and 333 swords, I kept grabbing them until the game was like, look, we're out of upgrades, leave.
What are the upgrades?
Things like max HP up.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, I was having way too much fun in there.
Yet another edition of they put this shit in here that totally doesn't need to be here, but thank you.
Yeah, no, that moment was really good in a way that's hard for me to articulate.
I think you described it well when you're like, this feels like something at the end of a real Final Fantasy.
Yeah, a lot of the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 feels like the ending of older, more respected Final Fantasy games.
Which ties into, I'm just gonna say it, anybody who at this point denies that this game was Nomura's revenge for not being allowed to make Final Fantasy Versus 13 is just denying reality.
Right?
A year ago, you could deny it.
Right.
I denied it because I'm like, oh man, he's not that petty. Holy fucking shit.
Let me go off the final world for a second just to list all the fucking this insane shit.
You made a list, didn't you?
I meant to list. I didn't write it down.
It better include the Toy Story trailer.
It will.
Jesus.
First boss. Looks like a Final Fantasy Iron Golem. You're fighting it at a city. That was the main boss they showed in Versus 13 trailers. The cooking, the Verum Rex trailer, and then the secret movie, which we'll fucking get to. There's multiple instances of, okay, I have all these swords around me.
Yeah.
Including Ultima Weapon.
Yep.
Including Ultima Weapon.
Yep.
The final fight of Final Fantasy 15 is a phase of the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 3, exactly with the exact same aesthetic.
Yep.
Only it's good.
The air stepping mechanic is Warp Strike with more control and more polish.
Yeah.
It's just surreal. Like, he really did harness the burning anger.
Also, the mechs was something that was going to be in Versus.
Yep.
That was in a trailer in like 2011.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
I was actually, that's something I meant to bring up during criticisms of, like, I didn't really care for the mechs. Like, I felt like that was one of the weakest moments or things you did in a world.
I feel like
I didn't use them as much, so I didn't get bothered by them. Like, until whenever they forced me.
I really liked the set piece where you get thrown into the game.
Yes.
I think that was neat.
The set piece where you get thrown in the game, that is good because the mechs in there don't take that much damage to kill, whereas the mechs outside of that take so much damage. It's like, this is kind of boring.
You can kill them really fast if you knock them over with a punch and then just punch them a bunch. They die real quick.
Huh.
'Cause if you punch them from the side or the back, they fall over.
I pretty much didn't use them.
I didn't even notice that they would do that.
Yeah, the punch is really just a stun hit, so that way you can get easy shots in.
And you can, if you have the one with the bombs, you look at the ground and shoot the bombs and they just melt. All their health goes down instantly.
Right. And that's something else that was like, if I wasn't using the mechs, then I felt like I was just doing it wrong. Like, you need to be in a mech to fight another mech.
I liked the idea of it would be more challenging, so the only time I used the mechs were to the very first time. Then it was the Verum Rex game, and then when they forced you to collect the blocks that make the cactuar that destroyed makes.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked the cactuar a lot.
Yeah, no, that was... God
A
damn
Final
it.
Fantasy character made it in, guys. It was Cactuar, but
I feel like there's a lot of Final Fantasy stuff in like the gummy ship segments and I feel like it's Nomura going, hey, we didn't have any place for them in the main story or Disney wouldn't let us. So here's this stuff.
So I know we're going to get more into the secret movie later, but my hope is that leans into maybe Kingdom Hearts is about other games more than it is Disney properties. I know that's insane.
I've seen a lot of people theorize that what if it's just a series of square worlds? So you go to a Secret of Mana world, you go to a Bouncer world.
That seems possible because I imagine like I feel like this game, even if this game sells 10 million copies, which I think it might, I feel like it's good. dealing with Disney must just be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And I feel like Square Enix would be like, let us continue making Kingdom Hearts and we'll just send you money and you don't have to approve us using your brands anymore.
Yeah, that's
And
the
I could
thing.
see Disney just
That would
I could
be
see
really
Disney
nice.
just being going, okay.
That would be the best
fine
case
with me.
scenario because
And
then we get a third birthday world.
I think they might just start doing a half and half thing.
We get to visit Aya Bray in New York City. We get to visit
Okay, so I'm
Sion
gonna make
Barzad and the
it's-
bouncer.
That's what I was gonna say. There's a much above zero chance
Yes.
Nomura could just put the Bouncer 2
Yes.
in the second arc of Kingdom Hearts.
I'm glowing with energy right now.
Because it's just the secret movie is just Nomura going, if you don't want to let me make it as its own game, I'll put it in another already popular game.
Man. And something I haven't covered, weirdly enough, in all of these Kingdom Hearts 3 videos we've made. I was really hyped for Versus 13 when it was announced. I was so hyped. There was an energy that came from it that I felt was really distinct from anything Square was making, and the closest thing I could relate it to was the bouncer, just because of how the environment design looked, and of course the contemporary setting, the relatively contemporary setting, near future, with hovercrafts and shit. And so when it became 15, like it shifted more and more and more and became 15, which is really different, I was a little sad. So this fucking game, having that ending, I was cleansed.
Also, the secret movie is just Nomura being a super genius because there's that trailer in the Toy Story world and you know that Nomura went, they're going to want this. And then surprise, you're getting it.
Yeah.
That's the best way
Oh
to,
my
like, he
God.
knows his fans and they'd be like, huh, when can I get this? Oh, fuck, I'm getting this?
Yeah, in 10 years, maybe.
It'll be a way sooner than 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
There's just a lot of small details that he does to stuff that he knows will, like, fire people up. Like how that ending ends with the same reconnect screen, but they changed the sound effect. And it's like, there's your new arc sound effect.
Do we have a name for the new arc yet?
No.
Nah.
Okay.
No, unfortunately not. Well,
This
This arc was
week-
called like Seeker of Darkness or something, right?
yeah.
And
yeah.
the
We
next,
could make up our own
yeah, it's the Kino arc.
name for it and hope that the fandom picks it up.
Force
we could call it, we could decide it's the Seven Darknesses arc.
That sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh arc. I
Are
don't
we
know.
we're gonna have to have some sort of fan battle with the
Yu-Gi-Oh's
other
Raw.
with the other Kingdom Hearts podcast over what the next
Okay, now
arc gets to be called.
Bob said Yu-Gi-Oh, so now I have to bring it up.
Ah,
Oh,
God damn it.
Oh, not again.
I don't even know much Yu-Gi-Oh. Get me out of here.
I love that.
There is
Negative fun.
there is a shared plot element between Kingdom Hearts 3 and Yu-Gi-Oh Arc 5, and Arc 5 executes that plot as a sociopath would, and Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't. And Kingdom Hearts 3 cured my depression related to that.
He bitches about it like once every 3 weeks on Twitter.
Wow.
It was that bad. It was like a fucking dagger in your soul.
Oh no, I get it. I understand those moments. That's why I bring up Metal Gear Solid 4 so much.
I guess I lucked out then.
Look, there's a lot of Kino bullshit in Metal Gear Solid 4, but there's also a lot of canon ruining details for no reason.
Dan,
So
Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 literally ends with people dancing on graves and it's meant to be uplifting.
Oh no.
That is how that ends.
For those who don't know and aren't keeping track, there was a short film festival me and Bob went to that had a short film that literally ended the same way, where people in the theater locally were applauding and me and Bob were just fucking horrified. Holy
No,
shit.
it's really artsy. So one thing I thought was interesting was people were theorizing that there might be The World Ends With You content in this game, because Nomura said you should finish up the Switch version of The World Ends With You, and you'll.
He played
you know.
me so fucking hard, fucking Nomura.
He literally
He
said,
rused
you
me.
should probably finish. You should finish The World Ends With You in time for KH3, and people were like, And then he said, "Well, I'm sorry, the characters aren't appearing. Surprise! The secret movie ends with you ending up in Shibuya, because that's the same 104 building."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sora
it's like-
ends up in Shibuya and Riku ends up in Verum Rex. and the building in Verum Rex World looks exactly like the main building in Insomnia in Final Fantasy 15.
Isn't that's just a building in Shinjuku though?
Yeah,
No,
that's
I'm sure it's
it's based on the Tokyo like metropolitan building.
So I figured they were in the same location because those are both parts of that same city.
Yeah, they're both. I looked it up. They would both be relatively close to each other. Like
I'm assuming
miles.
that I'm assuming that Riku and Sora are just going to be the two playable characters now, and that they're in different places.
Because
I feel like
I could see them like siphoning it, doing Dream Drop again, only with a different approach.
Yeah, see, that's okay. So we're talking about the secret movie, but the part in the ending where Kairi and Sora were next to each other on the tree branch, and then they switch which side they're on. And in the first shot, Sora fades away. All I could think about leading into the secret movie was like, okay, I was just thinking about Dream Drop mechanics and like, okay, then where's Sora right now? And then they show that, and I'm like, are we doing another Dream Drop? Is this another Dream Drop? Is that what we're doing? Because I'm okay with a Dream Drop through like a bunch of square worlds. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I wonder what the approach is, whether that secret movie is much later or not. Because, like, the KH1 secret movie is, like, something from KH2 technically, and they still did stuff in between.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that they solve what's happening, you know, where he saves Kairi, and then this is just the next thing. There's a lot of possibilities of where that's going to go.
Okay, are we ready to talk about like the actual events of the ending instead of the secret movie? I know I jumped us ahead by talking about how much.
Where we can.
Yeah, let's go through the fight. Let's just go through the last world plot beat by plot beat, I guess.
We're gonna cover the plot points in order.
Mm-hmm. Yes, let's. I've given each of you a gummy phone so that you can catch yourselves up if you're confused.
That scene made me laugh so goddamn hard.
I was losing it.
Everyone's in the goddamn room, and he's like, if anyone's confused, you know, you could just check your fucking gummy phone reviewer.
So that also made me laugh because there's all these fucking dim-witted, slug-brained Western critics who are like, why isn't Kingdom Hearts ironic and self-aware? And then it does self-awareness properly without demolishing itself the way shitty things they like do.
Yep. Like when Vanitas shows up and Sora says, this is that part where you say weird stuff and leave, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's so
or
many.
Axel saying, you can't beat me, I'm too popular.
Yeah, no, that was so on the fucking nose. Jesus.
They just wrote his character to just be up his own ass the whole time, and it's so good.
I wonder how much of that was Quentin Flynn, because he seems like the kind of guy who actually understands Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
yeah.
He is so far into Kingdom Hearts. Like, he interacts
He's got
with
it
the fans
memorized
constantly for years.
So real quick, I guess I'll lead the way with my weird thing that's been picking at my brain since I realized this was the plan. Xehanort's plan is to have the 7 lights fight the 13 darknesses and create Kingdom Hearts. But if his team started winning it all, that plan wouldn't work because they would only create 7 Keyblades through struggle.
Yeah.
I enjoy the alternate version of this where Xehanort ends up with 7 Keyblades and just goes, well, shit.
Well, now that girl from Frozen has to go beat up one of my guys, I guess.
Well, it's really unclear because I think the idea is that he only needs the hearts and that he can also do it with the hearts. So if all the heroes get killed, he can still make it.
Because that's what Terra Xehanort tries to do.
Yeah, that's what Terranort flat out says.
Everyone.
Who, by the way, he fucking bodies the shit out of some people before Lingering Will shows up.
Yeah.
I feel like half of Axel's bones break when he gets thrown through 3 pillars.
Let's just pull up the voice clip of me saying, quote, Axel isn't gonna get to do a single fucking thing but job. And that's all he does.
One moment. The line, you call this a Keyblade? This is a joke. Made me fucking lose it.
I love that. Is this some kind of joke? Yes, actually, it was a joke.
It was just a joke.
It was a very good joke, actually.
If you must know.
So I did highly enjoy in version 1 of the Terranort fight where Donald Duck casts Zeta Flare which is above even Terraflare.
Yeah, I think that only shows up in like a Disgaea game
When
at
he
that level.
co-hosts this
Yes,
Terranort.
he basically does what Tien Shinhan does to Semi-Perfect Cell
Yep.
and just casts from Life Force. And by the way, KZ, you got mad when I said the laser was something Donald was doing.
Yes, I did, because I'm like, there's no way fucking Donald Duck is... Are you fucking kidding me? Donald Duck went in that hard.
Donald lifts the feathers on his forehead, and there's a Majin M there. And he's like, I'm going to have to use all my life force.
And since Terra Xehanort doesn't come back, I believe in that timeline he's dead. He just straight up dies.
I thought that he got back up after
Donald
that.
Duck can destroy Xehanort.
Donald Duck starts charging up, and the piano music from the English version of Final Flash starts playing.
I was just thinking of Shining Finger.
I think the part where the lore has established through the final world that Sora has been pseudo-dying every time he ends up there is really fucking crazy, because they talk about how sleep is on the border of death. He's like, they're like, this world is neighboring.
Yeah, like that's what they finally kind of gave you an explanation of what Dive to the Heart is, where they go to those pillars, and the fact that it's this void.
Okay, KZ, what the fuck is the power of awakening?
That line they used to explain
my general understanding is it's like you're able to awaken hearts, and
But what
But
the fuck
that's
is with young
restored.
Xehanort going, the power of awakening is to reach worlds through hearts, not reach hearts through worlds, and I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, he was like, you're not using worlds to reach hearts, you're using hearts to reach worlds. And I'm like, oh man, can't wait for this to go dream drop by the end. And then it did nothing with that.
Well, I guess the concept is like they've only used the power of waking at that point to like shoot it into someone to go in their heart to do something, like Riku does it to Sora. Sora does it to Ventus. But with this, he was kind of like just traveling through the hearts of worlds to go find his friends and restore them. So I'm guessing that causes some type of dangerous strain, because that's pretty much what happens to Sora, at least it's implied.
Yeah,
There's a high price to pay, and he ends the game with seemingly dying.
He dissolves.
Well, not only that, if you recall, if Kyrie wasn't there, he wouldn't have made it out of the darkness, was the original thing that was going to occur.
That was the other thing.
But then Kyrie's like, hi, I don't have a personality, but I've got a role to play. This one tiny role.
Talking about that section, can we talk about how they did Spellican again, but way more raw?
I'm really glad everyone
that
picked up on that
Heartless is called
Spellican energy.
The Lich.
The Lich.
Yes.
That's not a pun.
No.
Okay, here's where my insane brain went, and it wasn't as raw as I thought it could be, because I really thought he was gonna pull out each person's heart and you had to fight their heartless and nobody right there.
That would have been really good. But no, it definitely was not that.
It was still good. It was still incredible.
I was expecting somewhere between what happened and what Feel was just suggesting would happen. But no, at no point was I like, this sucks. Like, no, it was still good.
Wasn't this sucks about anything in the entire game.
It was
Especially
like-
nothing
it was
in
like
that
a-
last world.
I think the one thing in the game that I'm like, this sucks, is the fact that they said that line about traveling to people's hearts through worlds, not worlds through people's hearts.
That was the most Kingdom Hearts ass line I've
I was
ever
like,
heard.
they're gonna explain this, and it's gonna fucking change the order of events here. It's going to recontextualize some shit. Nope.
Yep.
I'm still just like weirded out that they like undid that after you collect the hearts again, they for some reason go back in time.
Yeah.
Like they redo the events of Terranort showing up. Is so strange. I really wanted them to explain why that would happen, and they just don't.
I guess because he was using the power of waking, and he just decided to also just take their hearts and bring them back to that point. It's not really explained even in the journal. You'll have to wait until the interviews that come out eventually.
Bob, if you had seen the film Donnie Darko, this would make perfect sense. Okay, the first construct is water. Okay.
Yeah, because there's water in the in the intros of Kingdom Hearts.
See?
He's diving.
You think I'm just making this up on the spot, Bob?
I know.
And also I was right about Sora piecing himself back together in the live stream. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, it was straight up.
That final section was so incredible because that music is some of the best stuff they've ever done.
That
in
title
series.
card made me lose my mind.
It
The
was
final
great 'cause
world.
I got to mention the final world 4 times in tweets and no one got it.
I know. I've been thinking about fucking with people like that, but here's what would happen. I would say, I really love the final world of Kingdom Hearts 3, and some asshole, some dipshit, this would happen 100%, would just reply to it with, you spoiled the name of the world, man. Because I've had that
that's
exact
the
thing
trap,
happen
where
before.
someone responds and ruins it.
And then someone else is going to look at that and be like, oh man, he did spoil it. It's like, no, the second guy did.
Here's one criticism of the game. In the final world where all the Soras are frolicking, none of them dab.
Yeah,
It's
there's no
missed
dabbing.
opportunity.
It's pretty disappointing.
Just that music in there just really set the mood better than
It hits
most
you.
games I've ever played.
It hits you real strong. And yeah, like I was saying to Bob, I feel like the ending of this has a certain spiritualism and epicness to it that I traditionally expect from an old classic Final Fantasy. I think it delivers on that way better than
Also,
15
that
did.
Chirithy roasting the shit out of Sora multiple times. Like, seriously?
Like,
You don't know how to fucking do this shit? Come on.
Aren't you supposed to be a Keyblade wielder?
It weirded me out so much when Shirasi knew Ventus. I was like, what does this mean?
Yeah, Bob was thrown off by that.
Oh, that's in the
Ventus
mobile
is
game.
Ventus is in Union Cross. He's one of the Union leaders.
Oh, Bob,
my God,
you
of
watched the
course.
movie Recoded but did not play Union Cross, you fool. You peasant. You nincompoop.
They tastefully added aspects of that mobile game into stuff that wasn't in back cover. They added into 3, but in a non-invasive way.
I enjoyed that Organization 13 cutscene that basically just says, Dimix and Luxord are going to show up in the mobile game eventually. Look forward to that. And then nothing else. That was the whole point of that scene.
Yeah, I'm actually. It got me very interested in where they'll go with that.
Because Marluxia and Larxene are in the mobile game already. They're human forms. But we don't know shit about Dimix or Luxord. So that cutscene was literally the first time we're like, oh, they're from Union Cross.
Okay, so one single part of the ending that I found mildly disappointing, like super mildly, was that Skala ad Kylum is an area where you have what is admittedly a really fucking awesome boss fight. But when
And
that
4 steps to explore it before that boss fight.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
I was really hoping I'd get to look around because they made it. There's posters and stuff.
yeah, and the trailer features it, so a lot of time leading up to this game is just me imagining like, man, Skala ad Kylum, I wonder what the deal with that is. I can't wait to explore it. The game opens showing it. So
Maybe.
Yeah,
it
was an interesting flex they did with that, where they said, we just created a brand new intricate world and you're gonna fight bosses
How
in it and
fucking-
we're gonna immediately nuke this shit.
how fucking weird would it be if the DLC had to do with that?
And there's another insane lore thing. When Xehanort knocks you underwater for the water phase of the fight, Daybreak Town from back cover is the underside of Skala ad Kylum.
It's
What?
upside down. You see the silhouette, it's the exact same, and you can see the gears from the giant clock at the very bottom.
I'm gonna need you to say that again and slower.
Okay, in Daybreak Town, remember back cover the big tower that all the conversations happen in?
Oh my
It's like a
God.
clock tower.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
going to put
upside
it
down
in
on
the
the
Discord.
underside
I'm dying.
of Skala ad Kylum.
I'm fucking dying. I did not
I'm
notice
going,
that.
I'm going to put it in the Discord for you as a visual
Oh
aid.
my god. I didn't notice it. I was using the Ultima Keyblade. He was melting. Holy shit.
It's
There it is.
incredible.
Yeah, it's in the general there. It's perfect.
Oh my fucking god.
Wow. Yeah, no, I would not have noticed that. Oh my God.
So I want to talk about one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Before we go into what I assume real quick breakdowns of all the bosses and the resolutions of all those arcs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I sat there stunned that I was playing a AAA game where the protagonists were allowed to cry so much.
Yeah.
I just sat there like, because when Axel and Shion and Roxas huddle and like cry of joy, I'm like, a Western game would never let this happen.
They would have cut the scene before she had a chance to cry like that.
They all cried.
Yeah, but she like opens up that scene where they're like, oh man.
And then the Birth by Sleep crew does it.
To the point where they actually made Tara's eyes get red.
Yes, no, that was actually really impressive. Did you notice that, Bob?
I did not notice
when
that small
Tara's
detail.
crying, his eyes are, he's legitimately tears rolling down his face. His eyes are redder.
So it's just so surreal for me to see this in a AAA game that cost millions upon millions of dollars. Meanwhile, in like any Western game, it's like some gritty hard-ass dude being like, I'm sad I killed all those people, completely stone-faced.
I don't know about that. I feel like I don't know how many Western games are even remotely attempting. I haven't played enough Red Dead to tell you how it deals with the sads.
The sads.
Yeah.
All I'm saying
the hurt. I
is
don't
there's
know
a
how
reason
it handles
After
the hurt.
the troubles.
Just saying, there's a reason a lot more women like Kingdom Hearts than any Western game franchise.
I don't know. A lot of them got the hots for that Assassin's Creed guy. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but only 11% of Assassin's Creed players are women.
He's pulling that statistic out of his ass, Bob. Check him on it.
Nope.
What?
I can go get it.
Bob, do they
That's
all
crazy.
live? Do they all live in the Florida Panhandle with us?
It's possible.
Okay, well,
So I guess we're gonna be moving in. I guess order would make sense from the from right after you get out of the final world and you start the Keyblade Graveyard properly with the amazing title card.
yes. No,
Which they don't show you that title card the first time you go.
That's
because
incredible,
that's
yeah.
the non-canon scenario.
Yep. Did you notice that,
And you
Bob?
don't
I didn't
notice
add
it
that up,
until,
yeah.
until you get it.
It's
that
so
time.
fucking Kino.
I would just
it.
we already discussed Lingering Will and the Union Cross shit,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
just the euphoria building in me when Lingering Will parries Terranort,
Yeah.
then he does the whip,
Yep.
So good.
and then he does the cannon, and those are both moves the Lingering Will boss does to you.
Mm-hmm.
the cannon brings you to 1 HP no matter what if it hits you. And that's with abilities. It's just like a one-shot blast.
It's so good. It's unreal.
Actually, this one's more raw because that one's a ball in that game. This is just a straight
This is just
beam.
a fucking beam.
And he just eats so much shit.
So let's talk about the evil Riku and Zigbar one first.
All right, let's start. A good place to start is right after that happens, you do a Demon Tide boss fight. You do the Union Cross stuff. A good way to cap off that enemy type introduced in 0.2. But then Evil Riku shows up. He does like some super hype enemy summoning sequence. And then when everything's most dire, out from the heavens, Master Yen Sid appears and parts the Black Sea.
Twice.
Boy, Yin Sid sure is motivated when he's fighting dark things.
He really
Nothing
is.
That might
suspicious
have been
about
the
that.
most shocking thing in the entire game.
Yin Sid
Yeah.
starts off the Unite the Light group.
God.
I actually did get hyped though, because it's like he's doing something.
He's standing up.
That's what shows you this was like the finale of something where he came out to do something.
This is after when I deleted Twitter. If I hadn't deleted Twitter from my phone, I just would have retweeted the thing the chief yells in Space Patrol Luluco when he stands up and turns into the gun,
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that was amazing.
which I think is maximum over justice. Justice is over.
It's man. Oh man. More people should watch that series.
They had a unique approach with this final section, where instead of having a bunch of solo fights, because that would have ruined this game's pacing very badly, they decided to simulate a real war by having multiple like group fights. The first of which I guess would be Dark Riku and Zigbar.
I like that you get to choose. Really, you
It
get
is-
to choose what
yeah.
you go
It
for.
really worried me that was going to affect things. Like I kept being like, okay, do I need to get multiple saves?
Yeah, I was petrified after the end of the first fight.
I wasn't petrified because I was like, well, I'll obviously go with Riku instead of Mickey Mouse.
I had a billion save slots, so I made a save slot and I leaned into it, and I'm like, Nomura, protect me, don't hurt me.
And he did.
I was thinking he might not, but once I joined the second boss encounter, I was like, okay, we're good.
So a thing with these fights is that it was incredible how they just had a cutscene for each boss, even if the other one was still up, which is another thing I don't think any Western game would ever do.
It's actually something that bugged me. It was like, this is really awkward.
I'm glad that they have a cutscene each, but I'm not glad that it interrupts the other dude flying at you to kill you to have a dramatic moment. Like, it probably would have worked better for pacing and not breaking the suspension
I feel like
of disbelief.
it was like the best resolution they could do.
It's the best thing, and also I forgive it because every single one of them is raw.
I mean, they are really good. They all deliver. Not a single one of them is just like, fuck off, you're weak.
Huge fan of I'm Evil Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1. Psych, I'm actually a replica of Evil Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1 who just thinks he's actually Evil Riku. And then they bring back the actual Riku replica from Chain of Memories and give him an incredibly Chad resolution to his story arc.
Yeah, I mean, any person who rips a soul out of a replica body is pretty cool.
Since you didn't go through Chain of Memories, like that plot just had that replica thinking he was the real Riku.
Oh,
and
I know.
And kind of making peace with that. But his ending was just really dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually gave him a good resolution in this.
Kind of surprised they didn't do a throwback to I'm you. What are you talking about? I am me.
Quick plot thing. The guy Vexen talks about that wants to atone but can't because he's one of the 13 darknesses, is that Cyax?
I assume.
I assume that has to be who that is.
I thought that was Ansem the Wise.
Well, no, Vexen was talking to Ansem the Wise.
Oh, right.
I have this friend.
Oh,
He's
so
you.
it has to be someone else. So I was thinking it was either Cyax or Luxord.
Yeah, I assume it's Cyax.
Here's the really insane possibility that it's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, because he also was interested in Stargirl.
Yeah.
Which I really thought that she was gonna be. I thought that she was gonna be the Kyrie of the Xehanort and Ericus era.
Oh my god.
I really went into that thinking that Sora was gonna like bring her up to Xehanort during the final boss, and he'd drop his guard. But then it turned out to be a plot thread for the future arc.
Yep.
It was interesting how concerned he was about that character during around the midpoint of the game.
Which was like, is he doing it? Is he doing it because Cyax wants to know? Is he like, and they don't explain it, and Ansem has a really weird thing when you beat him.
Yeah.
Like, he has way more of a positive towards the heroes one than Xemnas does.
I think he's jobbed so much that, he kind of mellowed out.
Right, he's just tired of it. He's like, I know I can't even do this.
And then even Riku is like, I'm gonna miss you, weirdly.
Yeah.
I mean, Riku was turned into him, so of course.
So I'm excited to see if that goes anywhere, because I think it might. But we got off track a little bit. Zigbar's death was really cool, because you know he's not dead, because he just falls into a pit, and that means not dead.
I thought actually that was like a really cool way of like,
he was too
like,
proud
hey,
to die in front of
They killed
Sora.
a Kingdom Hearts character without dissolving them into mist after being hit with swords or energy blasts.
I knew when he fell into a convenient chasm that he was not dead.
Yeah, I was hedging my bets on either he was doing that out of pride or
I was hoping he wasn't, because he's my favorite of those.
I really thought it was interesting, like, oh, he's working with Xehanort so he can have the Keyblade. And then the secret movie happened, and I screamed. Or not the secret movie, the epilogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the greatest result. Because even in the predictions, I said he would job, because that's the opposite of what my true want for him would be. I want him to be important forever.
I still can't believe that I predicted like half a dozen different characters being that character, but then it was Zigbar.
But about those bosses, all faithful recreations of their boss fights, like Riku, Vanitas, even Terra Xehanort, like they redid those movesets perfectly within the context of this game.
Yeah.
The Luxord, Marluxia, Larxene fight didn't really have, their cutscenes were all good.
Yeah.
Although I did kind of like think it was funny that they kind of gave Larxene a case of the not gaze inexplicably, where they kind of imply that she's into Marluxia, which after everybody just assumes she's into chicks, and it's like, no, she has a case of the not gaze. Look,
Oh my
case
god.
of the not gaze, which I can talk about more in the ending, which has like a severe case of the not gaze.
Good, you noticed that too, but we'll get there.
Or it's like,
Moving along.
So when the game, I knew one thing about this game when it leaked that had me concerned, where someone said who had the game early that the game was bad, and they kept calling it something, and I didn't get it. They called it Kingdom Hearts 3 because hetero.
oh yeah, I can totally
because
see
of
that.
all the Sora Kyrie stuff. That's why
Yeah.
a lot of leakers thought the game was bad, because one, what happens to Sora, and two, it implies that
Not okay,
relationship.
KZ. Not just that. There's fucking Riku landing in Radiant Garden and almost being on a white horse for Naminé.
Yeah, that was ludicrous.
Yep.
That was
Like
fucking ludicrous.
I am stunned. I am stunned after they brought back the giant gay power sword from Dream Drop Distance. That they went that hard on the not gays. It was incredible.
It was frustrating.
Also-
That honestly did just annoy me. I'm like, come on, don't.
Look, it's not gonna canonically.
Kyrie and Sora didn't annoy me because, of course, they were gonna do that no matter what. But Riku and Naminé was like, wow.
It was a reach.
I was talking to Dan about that.
I didn't even think it would necessarily try to imply a relationship, but it made sense for him to be the one to like bring her.
But the framing of it really comes off that way.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, is there any chance that Riku has like Replicu's memories? Because it wasn't Replicu's whole thing. He was protecting Naminé. So maybe.
Yeah. That's the connection I kind of got, and they
have that
for part of this game.
And
Right.
connections are weird in Kingdom Hearts, like
Yeah.
like the Dog Street kids liking Sora because they sort of remember Roxas, or Tron in Dream Drop Distance remembering Sora even though it isn't the same Tron at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Just how reconnected
But,
those hearts are.
Uh-huh.
The only other thing from the Luxord, Larxene, Marluxia thing of relevance is Luxord gives Sora the wild card, or in Japanese, he's like, here's the Joka. And it's never brought up again. Wait for 3 games from now for him to pull out that card.
Yeah, no, it's gonna happen.
It would be I feel like that might come up in the very next whatever game that they do the World Ends With You 2 secretly inside.
Do you guys think, as a part of Kingdom Hearts perhaps being co-owned by Disney, just the title of it, that they may have to change the name to something else and just feature?
Here's literally what I think. How it went. Hey Disney, yeah, you can't do anything with the set name without annoying every single person who likes this. So how about you just let us make games titled it and we send you checks occasionally? And Disney went, okay. We like money without doing anything.
Most corporations do.
Yeah, but that's the first 2 fights, which I think are the most unimportant in general.
Yeah, and then you get the
'Cause-
birth by sleep fight.
I feel like Larxene's definitely coming back as
Yeah, there's
a.
the birth by sleep, and then the days fight.
I went ape shit when the Guardian ripped off his gag and was Terra.
Yeah, no, that was fucking.
Ever since
that was the best.
2010, I always went, what if the Guardian showed up in this Aqua fight, what if that's just supposed to be Terra? And when it was, I was like, this is so good. He repeated the same line from the end of Terra's story in Birth by Sleep of
Yeah.
one day I will set this right, which I literally tweeted at people in September of, I want him to say this exact line.
And I love the way he got his body back with Sora shooting the unlock beam through Terra Nort into the empty heart section of the Guardian.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was good.
Also, him grabbing the chains was raw.
I feel like the Birth by Sleep
that
encounter.
was the rawest. That was so raw.
It was.
Of Terranor going, you can't break these chains. There are bonds.
I think the entire Birth by Sleep encounter there and the Lushu reveal are that's the peak of this game for me.
I know a lot of people who lost their minds at the Days one because a lot of people love Days.
I mean, I really liked the day stuff, and I really do, like, I have an attachment to those characters. all of the raw, insane shit that happened with Terranor, like the line you just referenced of like, you can't break these chains. It's what bonds us. Like, it's
just him
all
him
of that.
using the friendship line, but only it's evil.
yes, all of that was so good. That was
And
oh.
it was delicious. It was just really, really good. And then you had the Vanitas sequence where he just says, "Fuck you, I'm just evil."
Right?
Then he's like,
but he
"We
kind
should
of
get
doesn't though. Even his line about being the shadow, and it fits in with what Sora even says later on that you're always going to have to deal with darkness as a person.
He's like, but I love Ven sitting there and being like, we should get to choose who we are, whether or not we're light or dark. We shouldn't just get pre-selected. And he's like, I did choose.
And that's all it is? It's good.
In the ending, I really expected it to be like Vanitas being his shadow instead of Chirithy.
There's also that wild theory that because a character named Darkness appeared in the mobile game and Vanitas keeps saying he's Darkness, people are trying to connect that.
Oh my
People are
God.
insane. It's so
Yeah.
obviously Ansel the Wise.
Yeah, it's very obvious, but also
So
it's
obvious,
insane.
Bob.
But that Birth by Sleep, all of that was really good.
Unbelievably good.
So let's talk about the Days one now, or rather, the part
the best
where
Axel cutscenes.
so starting with the Kyrie doesn't get to do anything saga. I can't believe it was literally the stereotype of, oh no, I'm a woman grabbed by her lower arm and held above my head. Now I'm paralyzed.
All my Keyblade training did not prepare me for this.
Right? It's like, she did nothing.
Well, apparently Merlin is a shitty teacher because even Axel just gets immediately jobbed the fuck out.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't wielding a real Keyblade. He was wielding a joke.
Yep.
He attacked him with a punchline.
Yeah, Kyrie is wielding the Keyblade of Ava from back cover, and her new hoodie even kind of makes her look like her.
I noticed.
Please stop.
No, I
Please don't do
noticed.
this. There's the line in Days that says that Xion is the mirror that reflects you. During that fight, she uses Cyax's moveset.
Yeah, I noticed she grabbed how in Kingdom Hearts 2 he throws the things and you can grab them. He does that and she grabs it.
Yeah, and there's also sometimes she summons them herself, like she'll knock you in the air with the Keyblade and then summon it and spike you with his sword.
That was really cool for a segment that lasted like 2 seconds.
Once again, a lot of time going into stuff you will maybe miss.
Or if you walk in with an Ultima Keyblade, 0.5 seconds.
Oh my god. But that entire exchange of Xemnas and Axel was really good, of just like, fuck you. He called him an also-ran. I had to Google that term.
So here's
It was
here's a thing that I really didn't expect Kingdom Hearts 3 to do, but it did magnificently, was give all the organization personalities. Even Cyax, who was basically nothing before this game, I kind of liked.
They were building him up in the other games, and I was like, I hope they pick up on this. Like how he was friends with Axel a good bit, and apparently they were building him up in Days. And then they really capped it off really well.
And explains everything. He's just a weird, jealous asshole, and then he becomes friends with them in the ending. The Days stuff also, like I said, I talked about the crying thing, which I always clap for like a seal when characters express really strong emotions.
When people are genuine and human, yeah.
Yes.
It's nice.
Instead of clapping like a seal, I just did what they did instead.
I got close a couple times. It didn't actually get me, but I got real close.
One of the problems of doing a Let's Play was, for the very first time, I had to say, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. So I'm gonna have to cut an episode and transition out of a cry phase.
The Birth by Sleep one got me worse, because just
Yeah.
Terra, before he took over the Guardian completely, saying that he'll set things right and it's slowly changing to his actual voice, was fucking incredible.
Yeah, no, that was strong.
It was really good. I
It's all so
probably would
strong.
have survived the Days section if Xion didn't start crying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Friends.
Yep. Oh, God.
So Kyrie got kidnapped grabbed by the upper arm disease.
Tragic.
Big fan of Xemnas going, who gives a shit? You have backups.
So do we. Yeah, Axel just removed and replaced with Roxas.
Roxas having the most Chad speech, just owning Xemnas.
I'm really sad that Roxas didn't just like body Xemnas and make him run off crying.
Also, I know Dan didn't. If you let Roxas and Xion just go, Roxas rips Sykes apart. He did more damage than me.
Wow.
I'll
need to go back and see that because it's just like
He's launching him. He's stun locking the fuck out of Sykes with dual wielding.
he's fucking Black Knight Tarkus over here.
I actually, even
And
though
it was another one of the moments with that soundtrack that is incredible because it's a dual mix of Roxas's boss theme and Shion's boss theme.
what?
God, that's so fucking Kino.
Mm-hmm.
It's just yet another reason I had the shakes the last 6 hours of this game.
Yes.
Even though I melted through those enemies, even in that tiny amount of time, I was like, damn, he's really competent. He's like juggling this fool and really helping me own the shit out of
Those
him.
moments when you do combos and they also do it at the same time and you're accidentally doing like team attacks.
Uh-huh.
I started marking the fuck out when I did it with Riku once.
So I'm going to say this. I'm really impressed how much improved party member AI is from every other Kingdom Hearts game. They're competent. You don't
Yeah.
have to babysit. Even Donald and Goofy did not spend most of this game dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Donald
They're
healed me.
pretty reliable, and they
It
still have
happened.
like
Wait,
AI
Donald
adjustment
healed you?
stuff, too.
Are you
Donald
sure?
healed me. Was not a single time in this game I went Donald heal me and he didn't. Every time I thought that I heard that Thora, and then my health went up.
Can we talk about how
as the voice actor struggles through his lines?
I know. He sounds like he's fucking dying the entire game.
That ingredients line is so bad.
it is? It is just awful.
We need to find some ingredients. And then just a thud.
We need Dan to step in and replace the guy. Let him stop.
It was really good because I could use rage form in this game so much with no fear because Donald will heal me back and I can just hit triangle like a
know.
monkey.
That I was staggered that was the case because I also did that too.
Risk charge is my most used situation command.
What?
Whoa!
And let's talk about Rage Form in a little bit though, because there's a real good time to talk about it.
Oh yes, there is.
Yeah,
So
there
the
is.
threes. So is there anything else we need to say about Days?
No.
No, that was about it. It was really well executed. I liked having all those characters in your party, which we haven't really mentioned too much. Just having them there is great, which means you had Kairi in your party for 20 seconds.
The fact that the PS4 does not have the technical limitations of the PS2, so Nomura could just go, you have every party member that you would logically have at every time. You don't have to switch anybody out for the entire game.
Yeah.
You don't even notice. Like the first fight, I forgot that, oh, my party's different here.
Yeah. That's actually one of the best things.
The fact that Goofy and Donald stay behind, so it's all square characters in the end game there is pretty good too.
And Mickey Mouse.
He's basically a square character. Look.
I
at
mean,
that
he yells,
outfit.
Ultima!
Yes.
So that makes you a Squaresoft character.
We'll get. Yeah. So the next fight that comes after Days is you go through this. You run up the tower, and it's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, Xemnas, and Young Xehanort. A face-off with them and your Sora, Riku, and King Mickey.
I thought that fight was okay. I didn't think it was spectacular. I liked when they shoot the Keyblade waves at you.
What I really enjoyed is when Xehanort actually starts contributing to the fight, where you're fighting the three of them, and he's shooting the chain of Keyblades at you.
That intro scene where he just goes, all right, here's how it works. Every time you clash, you make a Keyblade, and when I get all of them, I win. And Riku's like, we'll stop you and we'll close it. And he's like, if you live that long. And then it just immediately starts that fight and plays my favorite song in the series now. That track is incredible.
I need to go listen to it again after this. I
It
forgot.
is a remix of all three final boss themes from KH1,
Of course it is.
2, and Dream Drop Distance, where it just melds their themes together and goes so hard.
And they all have stuff that they had in those games.
Yes.
Like Xemnas has his lightsabers. Ansem doesn't have the Guardian anymore.
Yep.
But he has his other stuff. And Young Xehanort has the world.
Yeah, the young Xehanort doing time stop is
yeah,
amazing.
he has the time stuff where his body dissolves and like teleports. And then, of course, Master Xehanort does the Keyblade stuff because that Kingdom Hearts 2 secret ending had him do that a lot.
And
Where he made his hand look like a dolphin.
I like how young Xehanort was the one that was a little bitch about it.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't win. You're gonna die soon, Sora. And he like hobbles back off to the past, holding his shoulder and complaining.
It almost made me think, having beat the game, that he knows that Sora's gonna try and save Kairi because he knows that's what's gonna happen to her. And he's like, he's gonna fuck up.
Yeah. So let's talk about Kairi and moment 2 of her being laughably nothing.
Laughably or groanably?
You cannot convince me not to laugh in that scene where she turns to crystal and shatters.
I was shocked they did it that hard.
Cause my brain, when she did nothing in the boss fight and got kidnapped by having her upper arm grabbed, I just went in my brain and went, she's nothing, she's not gonna do anything, she fucking gone, it's over. And then she turns into crystal and explodes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found that to be the most exhausting part of this because it's like we've been dealing with her arc of being a Keyblade wielder.
Nothing.
Well, we were dealing with her arc plot-wise in this game, not character arc, because she would need a character in order to have a character arc. But we've been dealing with constant cutaways to her being like, I'm training Thor so that way I can be real strong. And then the first man that grabs her by the arm, she's like, oh, Jesus. And then she gets turned into crystal and shattered. And then I'm just like, this is fucking unreal. Because the whole setup here is, Xehanort explains, he's like, Sora, so far I have 10 Keyblades. I just need this many more. And he's like, I'm going to kick the ass of everyone but you. And then when I have done 93% of what you want, Xehanort, I'm not going to fight you, so it won't work. And he's like, then I'm going to blow up your girlfriend. And then he does. And then Sora's like, well, now I'm mad, and I'm going to do exactly what you want me to.
And then Sora gets bodied, and then Riku gets bodied.
And then Mickey gets
Mickey
bodied.
Jumps, but Mickey tries to cast Ultima, and I think Mickey, being the one person in Kingdom Hearts who can cast Ultima, is raw.
The Stopza, I thought, was super, super raw.
Yeah.
And then Sora
made
gets
me laugh.
owned by a Keyblade that appears behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, 3 minutes later in that scene, the stop wears off in the background and you, hear it make a noise. And then they end up falling back down.
Yep.
But overall, I think the triple Xehanort fight is one of my favorites because of the music and just that connection with those fights in particular. I think they handled each one's, final scene really well, with Ansem saying there are more things to seek because he's the seeker of darkness.
Oh, God.
That's part of the weird thing where I think that he might still be a character somehow.
Yeah, they could do something. They could.
I can see him just being gone because he left in such a good spot where he is a villain.
If it wasn't for the part of him also being interested in Stargirl, I would agree. Mm-hmm. But just that weird thing of him being interested.
The one that got me the most out of the three of them was the one who was just like, I haven't felt anything in years, and now I'm just lonely. And then he dies!
Yeah, that is 100% on character for Xemnas.
It was good.
It was
good. And it's just that intense sadness, and then he's just gone.
It's like if Dracula at the end of one of these Castlevanias, like Symphony of the Night, was just like, instead of being like, what profit a man if he gain the world and lose his soul? And then he says what part of the Bible it's from. If instead of that, he was just like, I really fucked up, didn't I, son? I'm legitimately sorry. And then he died.
That's kind of what the animated series did.
No, the animated series had him be a mopey bitch for 3,000 years.
It was a fantastic season of Netflix television.
No, it wasn't. But
listen, all I know is that I clapped really hard when Bloody Tears played over the fight scene, and that's all my brain remembers, and I mark that as a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, sorry.
I'm literally the biggest Castlevania fan you people have ever known, and when I heard Bloody Tears, I'm like, okay, I'm down with this, but...
Oh, I also liked Trevor punching Dracula in the face, and Dracula just looking at him like, really? Oh, you're the Belmont. That's the only person who would do something this stupid.
And the squeaky toy noises.
Yeah, somebody made an edit of the scene with squeaky toy noises when he punches Dracula.
Yeah, it was very fitting.
So Master Xehanort
Yeah.
recreates the Key Blade and summons Kingdom Hearts and infects it with darkness.
And I really don't know what I don't understand what they did to him to make Scala Ad Kylum happen. I did like that the portal that pops out of him is the same one for
the
battle
battle
portals
gates.
and the like, because it means it isn't a gameplay abstraction, and that's actually what portals in Kingdom Hearts looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, because the same thing happens at the end of Dream Drop, where they dive into Sora's heart, creates that same thing, and they said, so Xehanort is a portal because he got the time travel powers from Ansem Seeker of Darkness.
What fucking game series in the final installment about the villain just goes, so the bad guy is basically a time portal?
Yeah,
I laughed
He-
so hard. I know it's true, but damn,
Yes.
that's funny.
but the fact that they said, all right, he's a time portal, so what we'll do is shoot our Keyblades into him to create the portal we will do to dive into him, which blows whoever goes into it and him back through time and space to this world. To the point where even he's shocked, like, of all the places for us
I
to
think
have been sent.
no, I think you're I don't think they actually went through time. I think what happened is they went into Xehanort's memories, hence what happens with Ericus at the end.
Okay, I guess that would be
Because
it.
he's like, what? Because there's no people, and he's like, why would it send me back here? Because and that's where he was a student.
Yeah.
But would that mean that
Either
he,
way,
Which, by the
he
way,
got sent to that
which
area.
secret report did you read, KZ?
I read the report 13 or 12.
Well, earlier ones are Xehanort's reports when he was in school there, and they're really interesting.
Yeah, because this time the secret reports are different authors. Like the one I picked up was about Lushu and some of the stuff
Yeah,
he was doing.
the last four are Lushu. Some are the mystery girl that was in Ansem the Wise's basement. And well, that's where she
I'm sorry,
was.
It's pretty
the girl
accurate.
that was in Ansem's basement is really
it's a bit
fucking
too
funny
real.
to me.
Well, I don't want to keep calling her Star Girl because they're no guarantee they're the same character. I assume
Right.
they are, but they might not be. And then you have and some are written by her, some are written by Xehanort, student Xehanort, and then some are like Ienzo and Evan, and they aren't really interesting. They're just about replicas.
Yeah.
But anyway, they go back to Scala Ad Kylum, which there are numerous ones of, and they say the sea is the sea that births all worlds, and I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, he's like the
Man.
nexus of which all worlds flow into, or whatever he says.
Which I guess makes sense because the underside of it is Daybreak Town, and
Right.
back in Union Cross, every world was still one world, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
I
So
figured.
you enter this world, you're looking for Xehanort, and they do that really cool scene where he's just walking in different directions, and then they turn into the vessel armor things, and they rise up, and then they fade away, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And you start attempting to explore and get ganked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you beat them up, and they do the really big night thing. If
Yeah.
you let them live that long.
They do the screen nuke. They have like different spawning areas, so occasionally they'll leave, but the battle music is still playing, so you're kind of like fucking creeped out because you don't know where they are.
Going back 1 second. God, I hope Scala Ad Kylum is in future games because it's the coolest looking fucking setting in the universe.
I mean, it is really fucking cool, and I'll take a prequel game set in
I
it.
want to explore that in a normal JRPG. Like, I want to walk around and talk to NPCs and buy at shops there.
get ready for the Xehanort game.
A very cool final area change of mood, too. Because
Yeah.
it's just daytime in a bright, beautiful city instead of dark, evil place.
That's why I wish there had just been even just 5 minutes, like you have to get to the top of a staircase at the top before the boss fight triggers.
because that field theme is incredible, and you don't get to hear much of it.
Being able to walk a little bit more was would have been great.
Mm-hmm. But anything else about that fight?
Not really. We should talk about when you beat them, he turns into Satan.
His armor is really dope.
I can't believe, like, his Keyblade has always been like goat themed,
Yes.
like at the hilt.
yes.
So here's the thing with that. That's the Master of Masters Keyblade. The box has a goat head on it.
Yep.
Huh.
That Keyblade is the first Keyblade that was fashioned as a copy or an attempt to make the X-Blade.
So I really think the Satan thing is coming from the Master of Masters, especially since
Mm-hmm.
he is Superbia, which is the sin of pride.
Jesus Christ.
Man, that guy's prideful? Didn't notice.
So that design is so sick.
I saw that and I was like, the fucking Dark Knights of the Round. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it just straight up is that.
Which
so
by the
fucking
way,
cool.
is another Final Fantasy 13 revenge moment because they contextualize the kings of Insomnia as being the Knights of the Round.
Yep. And of course, the themes that play for the rest of these fights are used as like leitmotifs. Fate of the Unknown, which is the song used in the Kingdom Hearts 2 secret ending, which is the first time you see Master Xehanort. So they kind of just tie that theme to him now.
Yeah.
And that whole fight of him moving his hands and warping space.
Yeah. It's
So I'm not sure if that's the thing that Nomura was really excited about, or just the fact that you have a boss fight that's on land, then sea, then air.
It seemed like it was probably going to be that, because I'm like, warping this doesn't seem too crazy, but the idea of the same fight doing like,
Or I feel like it could
different
be in
style.
the Keyblade graveyard and just the all those fights.
yeah, that could also be it, of like midway through the fight another scene happens and you continue to build toward closure.
Or even the Union Cross thing,
Yeah,
because it has that near
I found the
automata.
final world stuff to be some of the most impressive stuff just conceptually.
And there's another weird near automata style thing in the final boss, which we'll get to in a second, I guess.
Yeah. So this would be talking about the first form of the final boss, which would be the armored Xehanort.
Yeah, Armored Zay.
How'd we do on him? Any difficulty, Dan?
none.
I
did-
tore him to
I didn't-
shred like a Julian salad.
I fucking didn't meet resistance at any point during the entire ending of this game.
How about Bob? How'd you do against him?
Being super low level, it took a couple tries, but it wasn't hard. Like, I was still on standard mode.
He
I
was
didn't
kicking
go
my
for
ass
proud.
a little bit.
I spammed fire. Then I used cure because I would undoubtedly have taken a hit or two. Then I stalled him with shot locks until my magic came back, and then I shot him with fire some more.
I healed once, mostly because he did some damage to me, and that upset me a little. I used a shot lock that did 2.5 bars of his health bar.
Oh my god.
I had resistance 65% to everything.
I was. They don't have critical mode.
So something I liked about this game, going back to gameplay for 1 second, I don't think there is a single boss who is invulnerable to shot locks at any point of any of their attacks ever.
Actually, Xehanort, during one very specific moment, cannot be shot locked. It is a very small
But
time
he can't
frame.
be targeted either.
Right.
What, in the water?
No, actually, it's when he raises up the platform out of the ground on the top of the entire Scalad Kylum.
Ah, okay. I thought you were making a cheeky joke because in the underwater section
You can't use
focus.
Yeah, that got me because I was like, ha, he's so far away. I'll just fucking oh fuck.
I feel like they really fixed how shot locks worked here. One, by giving every boss way too much health, so it doesn't matter that you can get that damage in. Two, it has a shot lock charge mode where you actually can't immediately like spam it. Because before you could build it up in Birth by Sleep really fast, but here it's a much slower charge.
Yeah.
Which I think fixes a lot of that.
Yeah, having a
lot
slower
of that
charge
problem.
definitely nerfs it a bit.
How was it by time? I always thought it was like when you hit guys, it went up like a super meter.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that too.
Because I never noticed it going up in Kingdom Hearts 3 at all, like in the same fight.
Oh, I was commenting on how long it takes to like ascertain a target and get a full proper like shot lock, not just the little bullets. But yeah, I guess you get focus slower too. Yeah.
It has a charge mode and an ability now where you
Right.
can, when you're on charge, you can do the shot lock and absorb focus from enemies.
Also, the Tangled one heals you, which is one of the reasons that's a really good Keyblade.
Hey Bob, you were mentioning something a moment ago.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, since critical mode, do we know if that's coming?
It's coming, but we don't know anything about it. I assume it's going to be a more thorough difficulty than just you do more damage and take more damage.
Right. My theory is that they're just going to take out the attractions entirely. I think they're just going to remove the attractions from regular gameplay. Like,
I assume what it's going to be is you do more damage, take more damage, and attractions are just gone.
I mean, I figure if critical mode is coming further down the road, that they might retool the game overall anyway for every difficulty.
Put in a big DLC pack that also adjusts a lot of stuff with the main game anyway.
Yeah.
Did anybody get the secret reports but me?
No,
I haven't read them.
I got one.
Okay, well, the battle portals have versions of nobodies that are from KH2 but are not anywhere in KH3. The Berserker ones and also the Sorcerer ones, and I think there's one other. So I could easily see critical mode just being like, we're gonna splash these in regular encounters now because there's no reason they wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because they're all really tough too.
I do think Bob's idea of stripping out the attractions does kind of resonate more with how Bayonetta does its higher difficulties, where it strips out mechanics.
Yeah, I can see them getting rid of attractions, especially on boss fights.
Yeah, I wonder if they would also like shorten form changes, because that's where all my damage came from. That fucking Monsters Inc. yo-yo is unfucking real, you guys.
It is.
I am between either making that bar that, you have to hit triangle before the finish thing,
Unless you have that ability that makes it do it automatically.
Either they lower that or they just make arrows a little bit harder to build. It's one of those two.
Yeah, making it harder to build an arrow would really nerf the shit out of it.
I guess we'll just and then they can add in abilities you can get that like cost a lot, but also make it go back. Because I don't know if every temporary party member has this, but Baymax has an ability that costs 50 AP that he can't even equip.
They all have it.
All of them have it.
Okay. I don't know how you would ever make them able to equip that unless you're like at level 70.
What ability
That's what
is
I'm
that?
aiming for.
I actually did. I had a ring that had 40 AP on it, so I did give it to Baymax, and it broke that world.
What happens,
That's
Bob, is they
awesome.
have an ability where they give you their team attack as soon as the battle starts.
Oh.
Yep, it's just
So
unreasonable.
that world went faster for me, where they're like, here's your waypoint. Enemies are around me. I activate the limit and fly up to it. Because his whole thing is you can just fly around.
Yep.
But I really, really enjoyed this armored Xehanort fight, where it starts with that first phase, and you go through that, and then they bring you to the water section.
Where you can see the ruins of Daybreak Town.
And that phase was a major, I'm really bad at the combat in water. And then I figured out, just spam thunder, because sea thunder
so
is
good.
thunderballs that just are guided missiles, and I just burst my way.
And somebody
That
pointed
phase.
out the incredibly horrible possibility that since we see multiple Scala Adkylums, and since the secret reports discuss parallel timelines, that every Scala Adkylum has a Daybreak Town under it.
Why you gotta put that evil on people?
I had a really different experience from you guys underwater. I didn't need my magic. I swung my big old sword, and it shot energy
You're so
beams out
fucking
of
happy
it.
about this.
And it did a wind tunnel. I spent 10 hours getting that shit. I stopped in the middle of the most Kino fucking part of the game.
You didn't have to do that.
And then I went and did the flan fucking mini games. You're damn right. I'm so
You
fucking
could've been
thrilled
like me and mostly
over.
use the Kingdom Key for role playing.
I was so fucking thrilled over how much I bodied that fucking chump.
I love that you can just keep using the Kingdom Key. Like, I had that equipped as one of my 3 throughout the entire game until I got Starlight, and that's the only thing that replaced it.
I had the Xbox Keyblade as my 3rd at all times. It makes the Xbox symbol when you hit people, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yuck.
cool.
I wish that I had the Amazon Keyblade. I want to have 7-Eleven pop out and stuff.
That's a good point. I would have wanted that. But overall, I think the armored fight is really good, but
Yeah, it
also
is.
pretty challenging.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And then somehow the very final form elevates it even more.
I cannot believe that just Old Man Xehanort with a big sword is the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 3.
I really liked the part where he pulls the light out of Sora and you turn into rage form
it is
and have to beat it out of him.
And he
It's
just
so
goes,
unreal.
enlighten me. And then just goes, shine. And then start shooting beams at you.
That was so good. That moment was so incredible, you
And
guys.
just claim your light.
His move where he goes and sits on his big sink chairs and fires lasers at you. That's the best.
And
that's the best.
I love that so much because he goes, expire.
Yep. Did anyone notice? I know this is way past the point, but did anyone else notice the person in Twilight Town that kept going, struggle?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
I was dying.
That person's a sociopath.
What?
Yeah, they are.
Well, struggle is what the stupid ball game that they play in Kingdom Hearts 2 is called.
He's still a sociopath.
Oh
Where
my
you
God.
smack each other with foam weapons.
What? I don't.
Feel this is the equivalent of someone running up to you and yelling basketball.
Well, I think he was. I
think his full sentence is "Let's struggle." He says, "Let's struggle."
The idea is he's supposed to be struggling with his friend, but they don't animate that, so it just looks very strange.
We didn't talk about the cooking mini games at all.
We didn't actually.
I can't deal with these fucking eggs.
Oh my God, Bob has that problem too. I watched him destroy egg after egg, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know. This
I don't
was a
even
problem.
actually have that problem. I was quoting people on Twitter who just post with no context.
Yeah,
Fuck these
the
eggs.
eggs are a lot more difficult if you're colorblind.
Wait, what?
What?
How?
Just-
Okay, he's
Never
making
mind.
he's making a fucking bit. Anyway. Hey,
Yeah, I'm making a bit. Sometimes it's a 3, sometimes it's an 8. Don't worry about it.
okay,
But
mister.
the egg one is definitely the easiest one to screw up, or the flambe one if you choke.
Man, I did the egg one and I was like, oh man, I didn't get it perfect on the first go. Then I did it again and got it perfect. Bob does it
And
and
then
I
you
watch
look
him
over at
smash
Bob.
4 eggs and I'm like, holy shit.
I just didn't understand what he even wanted from me for a bit. Just kept
Sora
smashing them.
just screams, "I like to cook," and smashes an egg with a frying pan.
Ratatouille just looks at fucking Scrooge McDuck and he's like, I didn't do that. That's all him.
That flambe one, there were plenty of times where I overshot it
Yeah.
because one time I did it too slow once and got so infuriated.
They made Sora really dumb in this game. He's like one step above Goku now.
I would say he's 2, but I get your point.
This Sora would think marriage is a food.
Probably.
This sword can't count to 3.
Well, last thing on this for me, I really love the fucking scene where Sora gets the cake from Little Chef, right? Scrooge McDuck's like, oh, he wanted you to have this, and he hands it to them, and they're like,
Eat a potato.
and Sora and the crew are like, oh, cake, awesome, and then Scrooge gets his feathers yanked on by Ratatouille to let him know, like, hey, dude, hey. And you don't hear him say that. You don't see the Little Chef do that. You just see Scrooge McDuck look at his fucking hat, and he's like, what? Okay, fine, I'll tell them. He wants you to know it's called tarte à fruit. I loved that scene way too much. I'm sorry, I just had to bring it up. We can go back to talking about the ending, though.
Yeah, so this the final boss I have one criticism. So they have a new voice actor because Leonard Nimoy had passed away in between games.
Yeah.
He has one of the most amazingly terrible line reads in that final boss.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Phase 2 starts and he goes, "Come Kingdom Hearts."
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
No,
it really
so
stands
bad.
out.
It almost sounds like a question. He's like, come Kingdom Hearts?
Like he forgot what's happening.
Are they going to patch in a different line read?
He's very old, KZ. Please be nice.
Look,
I will be nice. He was in Blade Runner.
Wait,
what?
who was he in
It's
Blade Runner?
Rutger Hauer.
Are you-
Hauer?
What?
Yeah, that's the voice actor
Excuse
for
me?
Master Xehanort. Yes.
How
Like-
the fuck?
Like
no, what?
that guy who has the speech at the end of Blade Runner. Like the bad android.
The one who says all these memories will be lost like tears in the rain? That guy?
Yeah, that's the
What?
What?
that's why Xehanort sounds weird because he's Dutch.
Oh my god. I was the whole game. I was like, why did they choose
Roy Batty in Blade Runner?
Jesus, that's fucking insane. Like, in a million years, I never would have gone, that guy who can't say come Kingdom Hearts correctly. That's the guy from that emotional ending of fucking Blade Runner. Ugh,
They had to get someone like important who is, who's also old.
Yeah, I get
Dude,
that.
Xehanort.
I just that guy's performance there is stunning, and here he's like, "Come, Kingdom Hearts."
he has good reads in this game, but also some of the worst.
Yeah, it's a real mixed bag. It's the definition of a mixed bag.
There are some weird line reads, and like I can't even criticize him because that might be what he was asked to give. Because there's a lot of weird line reads in this game that feel like they were asked to read the line in a specific way. Like there's the first time Riku and Mickey are in the realm of darkness, and the line is like, "How long are we gonna leave Aqua in a place like this?" And it's like supposed to be seething, but there's like a weird pause in it, and Riku asks it like a weird question.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad read too.
Yeah.
So the voice direction maybe not solid. I actually don't want to get into audio production at all on this because I have a giant rant about that I'm just not going to go into here.
Yeah, that's fine. But overall, I think the final boss had some good phases. I will always love going through teleporting gateways of keyholes to attack you.
That was great.
Yeah.
One of the things I lost my mind at is the fake game over.
Always a good
That
Where
thing.
your heartbeat reacts to your inputs.
Yep.
Which,
that
by the
was
way,
good.
that is something that I think 100% was stolen from Undertale, literally 100%. I don't believe for a second that Nomura is not aware of a thing Undertale does, and I think he just stole it.
I could have sworn that they did a similar thing in an earlier Kingdom Hearts where they used the exact animation from the game over screen and shoot it from the same angle to give you that impression.
But it's the timing of it and what happens to wake you up that makes me think that.
Okay.
It feels like an idea you could come up with where it's like Sora uses his friendship power to win, and it's like, oh, they save him from death. So I don't think it's necessarily that. It's something I can argue against, unlike the Nomura's Revenge.
They both stole it. They both stole it from Metal Gear Solid 2 with Fission mailed.
I'm sure Nomura, I feel like it influenced it. I think Nomura probably was always going to do something like this, but I think Nomura saw it and said both involve big hearts.
Somebody's like, "Hey, you heard of this game, Undertale?" And he's like, "I'm too busy right now. Go away."
Good news. Since that was in Kingdom Hearts 3, you basically don't need to play Undertale now, Dan. You're free. Look
I'm
at
free.
that.
Thank God.
Yeah.
It's not like I had time for it or anything. It's not like Kingdom Hearts took me 40 hours and I could have completely beaten Undertale in that amount of time easily.
It's okay. You missed the boat on an Undertale podcast, so.
Ah, jeez.
But I think that final boss was really good. All the final stuff in Scala was really fun to play because it was not too gimmicky and the bosses felt incredibly fair. Like you could block so many of their attacks and punish them.
Yeah, which is nice. I really get irritated when games like, "No, that is unblockable. Why did you try to block it?" without properly, conveying that.
$1,800 on the Patreon, and we have to do a review podcast of Undertale.
Oh my God.
Dan is filled with despair, not determination.
Setsuboshita.
I think playing one 8-hour game and doing one podcast for $1,800 a month would take the sting away from that barb.
Yeah, but it would get us closer to that Bleach podcast.
Yeah, no, that's gonna kill me.
The Bleach podcast is going to be Kino. No one can say it isn't.
The Bleach podcast that inexplicably has worse audio production.
You're right. Bleach is very Kino, except when I have to watch it. But yeah, I think all the final bosses were really, really incredibly executed. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2 has that one segment where you're fighting Xemnas, and there's a gummy ship part, and I feel like playing that a lot, you get bored of it. And
Yes.
here, everything is very well paced and very quick,
Yes.
so you can get into each fight pretty fast. The only gimmicky thing is the water bit, and that's pretty fast.
The rage form bit is a little bit gimmicky
Yeah, but it doesn't last
because
long.
you don't have your magic or anything.
That is the equivalent of play as Riku to save Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2, but I think this is better because it's just...
Can we talk about how crazy it is that
What's up? Go
we
ahead,
have
Tom.
like 2 fight scenes as Riku and 1 is Aqua, and they made full movesets for those characters?
I have a sneaking suspicion that that big DLC will involve them.
Right. I mean, if they do a DLC.
Plus, remember, Bob, the secret movie, so Riku is obviously going to be playable in any future games, and they can just reuse all that shit.
I have an insane DLC prediction type of thing.
Shouldn't
So-
that be its own podcast?
No, because I do too, but I want to hear KZ's.
It shouldn't be content because I need it now. Feel feel as both creator and audience.
So in all the Kingdom Hearts games for a while, they did the final mix versions of the games where they added additional story bits and sections to the games occasionally. Kingdom Hearts 2, the Roxas fight was only in the re-release. It was a cutscene.
Yeah,
originally,
that's a cool boss fight too.
Yeah. So my prediction is whenever they do their big DLC pack, I feel like they'll eventually, maybe for PS5, like have that final mix version. Even though they say they won't, there will be one for Kingdom Hearts 3, and they will make Lingering Will versus Terra Nort a playable fight. And it'll you will
That would
do
be
that
good.
fight.
That would be
Like when
so
they
good.
leave, that continues to another part of the fight, and maybe a couple other darknesses join in to try and repel Lingering Will, because you never see him again.
He's just too powerful, okay?
He had to be removed from the plot.
I have never wanted something to be playable more than that. I'm like, I don't even care about playing as Roxas. Just give me this.
And that's weird. Yeah, and they could also include a situation command to switch to Roxas or something.
Oh yeah, you could totally do that, because 15 does a similar thing where there's switchable characters during the final part of fights.
And it could even, like, the Lingering Will thing being playable would make sense because they added in his Keyblade morphs as a mechanic now.
Yeah.
So you could just build up triangles with Lingering Will and get the whip, build them up more, and you get the gun, and the gun has a finisher that's the big laser.
Mm-hmm.
I
yeah,
do
that's
like how we
something I'd
mentioned
want.
Wonderful 101, and they do the ending to Wonderful 101.
Yep.
They do a big rainbowy beam clash and shoot Xehanort through. And then you get to the ending, which is like, okay, Grandpa, time to go back to the home.
I've seen a lot of people like misunderstand the conclusion of the final boss. And
Okay.
I was even looking at like some of the leakers' comments after I beat the game, which they said, this game's bad. They made Xehanort a good guy at the end. And I'm like, what dimension are you even from that you got that from his character? Where his entire point is, people have darkness, so I'm just gonna bathe everything in darkness to bring the pure light back. He's evil. He's just stupid evil. And they assume that he like becomes good at the end because he gives you the X blade, when it's just that he conceded. He gave up because he lost.
And then he becomes a young Xehanort again because he remembered the good times. I do think that's kind of where they were going, because I don't think he didn't become a good guy, but the villain having a change of heart as he dies is not exactly an uncommon narrative trope.
Right.
He accepted his loss. There was nothing else he could do at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He basically did. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Is it weird to anybody else that they both flew into Kingdom Hearts after they died there? Ericus.
Well, I think that's where you go when you die.
Yeah, that's where you return.
okay.
So the final world is Kingdom Hearts?
Which makes sense because, Scala et Kylum is translated to Stairway to Heaven, and hearts flow back into Kingdom Hearts.
If you paid attention when it came to, what was it? When it came to some label about the area, it said Stairway to the Skies or Elevator to
Yeah.
the Skies, and I just laughed. I was like, yeah, that's, yeah.
I can't say the other word.
And then we get the stunningly great ending.
That was incredibly good. That entire here's where everyone ends up.
Yeah, I haven't seen backpedaling on homosexuality that effective since they cut the scenes out of Star. Wait, which Marvel film was it that they had to cut a line? Or is it a Disney film? That's what I'm mixing up. They're like, the candle's gay. Just, go with it. Don't tell China.
Here's the thing. I can't believe that they gave Shion, Axel, and Sayek's casual clothes completely different from their Birth by Sleep outfits.
It was good.
That stunned me.
I got so upset when they said, Axel, you have new clothes. You gonna use them? He's like, no, not really.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
But seeing him actually use them here, I guess it's like him moving on. Sykes coming back felt so satisfying.
The upside
'Cause you
down
knew he
tier
was
thing.
coming back, but him just being in the group.
Yeah, we actually didn't talk about the upside down tiers at all.
That's insane. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
Which is all everybody was just assuming that those were things that like nobody symbols, because Sayeks has the scar.
Yeah.
But no, he went and painted those on every day so he wouldn't be sad.
That's sane.
Right, and then he's weirded out when he wakes up as a human and doesn't have them.
Well, because he didn't paint them on in his human form. Also, did anybody else notice that Sayx's scar gets huge when he's in Berserk mode?
Yeah, it's his energy.
It's real awesome.
But yeah, everyone got their happy ending, and then they had that great beach scene.
Was Yin Sid there?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Sid was at Disney Castle.
Oh yeah, he was at Disney Castle. I was like, he wasn't at the beach scene, was he? Because
No.
that would have been funny
No.
if he was like on a lawn chair with sunglasses
He's like, I love having fun.
in his robe.
That would be great.
Sora.
Just his normal chair is there.
Of course.
Desk and everything.
Yeah, they just moved it there. But I thought that scene was really good.
And then Riku shows up and takes Naminé to the prom, and there's no homosexuality involved at all.
Yeah, it's
and then
great.
Sora dissolves.
Yeah, Sora
And then
dissolving
we get-
and switching places with Kairi.
And then we get the credits, which angers me because the Pirates one is Keira Knightley and Will Turner having sex on the beach, and Dan was once again right that was going to be in the game.
Yep.
But it wasn't Goofy, so he wasn't 100% right.
I've heard you say switching places. What do you mean by like?
So
by
in
that?
the movie part where they're showing the beach party, right? It shows Sora on the right, Kairi on the left, and then Sora fades away as it does a tracking and panning shot of the backside of them, right? He fades away. At the end of the credits, there is a still image, and they are flipped. Sora's on the left, Kairi's on the right, and it's the same tree, the same shot.
I believe that's the scene before they go to the Keyblade graveyard where she shares a fruit with him. He was on the left during that scene.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. So I almost forgot because I was in a almost delirious state when I got to the end of this game yesterday.
Yeah.
At the end, the very end, when they beat Xehanort, he becomes young again and goes off to die and is like, I lost, but I'm satisfied because I was wrong. But Sora talks about how Kairi was taken from him and always slips away when he finds her. And for a split second, I thought Kingdom Hearts was going to go into some weird thing about how Kairi had always been dead.
Kingdom Hearts
Holy
always
shit,
sits
Phil.
on that edge. I honestly, like, if they just one day said, oh yeah, no, this
Look,
is...
KZ, a lot of stuff about this game was about accepting grief.
Yeah.
So I was just like, Kairi had always been dead and Sora just couldn't cope until now. She drowned on that island 2 years ago.
I've seen of a lot of insane takes. When Erika's came back, I saw a streamer go, oh shit, is he gonna be the secret final boss?
Listen, I didn't actually believe this, but that's just how my brain auto-completed that statement.
After Dream Drop Distance, I was expecting the end of this to legitimately become Sora. Through awakening these people and doing all of these actions, you're the bad guy. And for it to just get really fucking weird, because time travel was a real fucking weird move, and I was waiting for this one to get even fucking weirder.
Can I say I am so glad that Phil was wrong?
Yeah, about which thing?
For a while, Phil was saying that, I'm thinking, like, there's no way to reconcile this. They're just going to reset the timeline. I'm so glad that didn't fucking happen.
I really thought it was just gonna be like, they're not gonna let the Birth by Sleep crew just be like, we're 10 years in the future and just here now. But they did, and I'm happy. That's by far the better.
I hate when stories do that, so I'm really glad that they just, went, no, we won.
And Sora melted. And then now let's skip to the epilogue where we find out that Xigbar was Lushu
Yeah.
and has always been Lushu.
Yeah, that was
Well,
the...
except because he might have taken Braig over, according to the secret reports.
Yeah, he body hops. He said that he's been through many semblances.
And he summons all of the foretellers back to the present except Ava.
Yeah,
who-
he's like, I told Ava exactly what would happen, but she's not here.
Which might be why I think that would be a very Nomura-esque thing to do. Like, Lushu stole the body of the guy that was really fond of Ava's amnesiac version that came to the future. Like, that seems like a very Nomura-esque twist.
I was very satisfied with this twist of the entire time he's been He's just been watching.
Yeah, the secret reports flat out say
He was only half
I
Xehanort.
found this fucking idiot who loves darkness. I'm gonna pretend to be his stupid lackey and guide him into doing all the shit I want.
I mean, this Lucio reveal is the most dream drop Kino moment, I feel, here, plot-wise, where it's just like, surprise, bitch.
I also really like Babby Xehanort going, let's play a new game where there's 7 darknesses, and obviously there'll be 13 lights. But he goes, there's 7 darknesses, which is the 6 foretellers and the Master of Masters.
Yep.
And it makes sense because now we have, at minimum, 8 really competent Keyblade users.
We have a very diverse cast of Soras to pull from here.
Like, not even counting Kyrie and Axel, who are both useless. We have 8.
Maybe Axel could
they're
do
working
something.
on it. One of them's working on it.
But yeah, I'm very excited for where the series goes from here. I thought the ending was
I
pretty
think
good.
Sora's death was really well executed because I hated that it happened just from I like him to have that peace of mind
For a second.
and just have that.
Instead, he's right back into some bullshit.
Like that hit really hard, but I was also like, man, that's really fucking good though.
That was so good. So I mentioned this before, but the secret reports, basically, there's a thing in the secret reports. It's kind of like, don't worry, guys. Nobody that you know right now are any of the foretellers or the Union Cross characters. So there's a character in Union Cross called Brain.
Yeah.
And there's been a million theories about who Brain is. Like, oh, it's Zigbar, which of course is not true now. Or it's Ericus. And the secret reports explain this. And he looks like Ericus.
Yeah. A recent update came out and he has a similar like hairstyle.
The secret reports go from Xehanort's perspective as a student, say Ericus is a descendant of the old Keyblade masters. Like, he's from a legacy, which of course would be that character's legacy, which is why they look alike. And
Right.
that's why I'm assuming what's going to happen is, like, Terra is from Ased's family, Cyax is from Ira's family,
Yeah.
Kyrie is from Ava's family, and that'll be their and Aqua is from the Invu's thing, which is why they have similar powers and look kind of alike and sound kind of alike.
Yep.
So I'm glad that we no longer have to play is XY bullshit.
Yeah. The report I got basically said that Lucio gives the Keyblade, like the Master Xehanort Keyblade, over to one of the Union leaders, which would probably be Brain.
Yeah, especially because it was in Scala. Somebody at Scala at Kylum had it before Xehanort did, because we see it on the wall.
Yeah, and the whole
That was a really good
down.
scene.
That scene was so fucking good.
Let's just hang this up here. No reason.
It's always there.
Just watching.
And then we get the secret movie, which I'm sure I already know people who are like terrified of The World Ends With You being in there.
Why would you
Why?
be upset? That's amazing.
Why would they not want that?
Because The World Ends With You has a very strong theme that is not particularly
Conducive.
conducive to sequels or it being hooked into the Kingdom Hearts Kino train.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
fair.
what does it matter? The original game still exists.
Yeah, I agree. That's my point. Like, I feel like this is better than making The World Ends With You 2, where the same things happen with the same characters.
Yeah, like I never see the problem in, oh, they're making another thing or they're remaking this and making it different. Like, the original will always be there.
Oh, okay, so here's a crackpot thing. Here's a conspiracy theory.
You have a theory about this?
Yes.
You have a bit.
There's no Final Fantasy stuff in this game almost, because the entire next arc is Squaresoft game to Squaresoft game to Squaresoft
Yeah,
game.
they're starving you on Squaresoft properties in this one, so that way next time it's the deepest dive. What's up,
I
Bob?
don't know how it timed out for you guys, but while I was selecting my powers at the very beginning of the game, after I selected one, right behind it was those fairy versions of the Final Fantasy X-2 characters. Like, yes, they're here.
Yeah, those
And,
pictures that fly around
never-
you at the very beginning.
Never again.
Yeah, Riku was flying around.
I still think 100% the DLC will include Sephiroth.
I honestly can't see it happening. People take note. One of us will be right.
That's right. If they really do make a Square crossover thing, I feel like they'll just make Midgar a world.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
expecting.
mean, they're already making it Unreal.
That'd be real. It'd be. See, I'm really excited for the second arc of Kingdom Hearts. Like, I didn't think I'd leave Kingdom Hearts 3 being okay. When's Kingdom Hearts 4? I thought I'd be satisfied for at least a little while.
No.
Every secret movie has succeeded at changing the tone really well. Kingdom Hearts 1's a funny, happy game until like that last boss, and then the secret movie is a dark battle with hooded characters in a metropolis that's really fantasy oriented.
Yeah.
Then Kingdom Hearts 2 is a meeting of armored warriors in a graveyard with a very impressive fight sequence. And this one is they're in the real world, maybe? And also there's multiple Square characters.
So Bob, you know what the secret movie reminded me most of all?
What's that?
The Lords of Shadow post-credit sequence. That's all
That's
I could
you're a
think
broken
of.
man. It's
So
also
the L
like
here is that you played Lords of Shadow enough to get that.
Smash cut.
It's-
We're now modern day. It's a street. We'll roll back the scale of this later.
it's also like it's also like the end of the ultimate mode on Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Whoa. What?
If you
What?
beat the true route, because you play the first game with the 4 characters, then you play the second one without Zangetsu, because he's the final boss. Like Demon Zangetsu is the final boss. And then the ending of that is him waking up in a futuristic city and seeing the company from Mighty Gunvolt.
What? They let them do
Because
that?
I think they added
My
him
God.
to Mighty Gunvolt after this.
Oh my god.
Or they probably will.
You're causing Dan slight pain.
But here's the thing that like
Yes.
really cracked me up about the secret ending before Kino kicked in
Mm-hmm.
was how like I just parsed it as Sora is a caveman in this modern city and is like like jumping like a dog from a car.
I mean, it really gets into that those premonitions we had about what Baymax would have to teach Sora. I really do like the idea of Sora staring at a car and being like, "What the hell is?"
and
Did
honestly,
the fist bumping, they did the noise.
Yes, the fist bumping noise was woo 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 was so good.
yeah, that was great.
so good. God,
But
this game has so many good moments.
Sora ending up in The World Ends With You is perfectly fitting. And then before the Verum Rex guy showed up and I realized what it was, I thought, is he just in Versus 13?
Right. I think that's what he
And then-
wants you to think.
And then he is, sort of.
I mean,
But I thought it was literally going to be Versus 13.
There is a part of that soundtrack they used for that movie that sounds almost like Somnus, which is the main theme of Versus 13.
Yeah,
and
no,
15.
when it started
it
playing
does.
that, I was like, is this that song?
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, he wants to evoke that.
And that's
really,
the thing,
really
like
hard.
back in the Toy Story world, when they played that trailer for, the thing in universe, I was like, that shit is Versus 13 as hell. So when the ending cuts to Pavement, I'm like, oh my God, he's in Versus 13, which is that game. So when they
You
showed
know
the
what's
guy,
even more insane?
Hmm.
The insane guy who said everything was going to be connected to Versus 13 with no evidence turned out to be right.
It really was.
well, do you guys have any last comments about this game before we wrap up this incredibly huge 2-parter podcast about Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yes. Play Kingdom Hearts 3, but play every single game in the series between it, because it makes Kingdom Hearts 3 go from good to spiritual.
I do have to say that game wouldn't land nearly as much for me if I hadn't crammed 8 Kingdom Hearts games down my gullet in the last 6 months.
It
No,
made
it's-
you a doughy British man.
I also watching the movies helps, honestly. I think if I didn't
Yep.
watch the movies, I would be really caught up on what
Bob
the hell is
reading
with
what
Eugene.
Roxas did on the day-to-day.
I meant the movies the Disney worlds were based on.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But because, oh my God, recommending anyone watch Recoded is not okay. Do not watch Recoded.
No, you must understand the hurt.
No.
You can just fast forward to the hurt.
I'm so fucking mad that Recoded didn't matter at all.
Yeah, no
Not a
Wikipedia,
single
nothing.
thing in Recoded was in Kingdom Hearts 3, except the bug blocks, which aren't called bug blocks.
I know.
Right?
So you didn't. It was stunning.
Dark cubes.
Dark cubes.
Yeah, even though they had Repliku there, he couldn't even say they were bug blocks.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They wanted to make it a reference. I bet he made them like that so he could use it in a trailer so he could trick you.
Damn Nomura.
Yeah.
He would do that. So overall, I loved the game. I thought it was all right. It's my favorite game of all time now. That was weird, but it happened. It happened.
It's one of my favorites. I'm probably not going to play it again very much.
2 was my favorite for probably at least 10 years now. And this is a better video game than that in pretty much every single area.
Yeah.
It was worth it. I was so afraid.
You were
they
scared.
They could fuck this game up in so many different areas.
Right.
Yeah.
Gameplay, so many different story opportunities. They did everything any fan could have wanted with this.
But I gotta say, like, I'm impressed with what they did with some of the Disney worlds. I feel like some of them turned out really well. Like Pirates, it
amazing.
really stands out.
Like far exceeds what
Pirates
you would
World is good
ever.
because they kept cutting off the movie.
The one thing that I'm weird about is like the Pete and Maleficent stuff didn't go anywhere, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, but she didn't go anywhere in 2 either.
They were watching the epilogue.
At least in 2, like, she has that moment of being totally bodied by random enemies, and that is amazing.
That was pretty good.
So since you mentioned Pirates, I did think it was incredible. We were all in complete agreement that Beckett is stupid and won't be in this game, and then he's fucking in this game.
By the way,
can-
the pre-rendered cutscene with him and Jack was scary.
Yeah, okay, good. I wasn't alone. I was like, wait, are they using a clip from the movie? Jack looks so real.
No,
And then it cuts to Beckett. I'm like, get me out of here.
I also, in the actual movie, I didn't notice that Davy Jones is standing in a tub full of water because he can't stand on land.
no, it's fucking hilarious.
It's the best part of that movie.
It is such a fucking
And you can see the 3
funny-ass
buckets
deep-
he had to stand in to get to that bucket.
Yeah, did you see that? It's so fucking... Oh, my God. Yeah, no, that's a great detail, and of course
Sora
Nomura
starts
would love it.
punching him in the head.
Yeah,
Yes.
the group is Bootstrap Bill, which is very weird.
I do love that him phasing through the giant steering column
They
or
skipped
whatever.
the slapstick part of it.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity.
I don't know. They still had that one joke where he's like
Yeah,
trying
but
to get it.
they didn't have where they turn him around like, oh, I'm turning you around, Davy Jones.
That's
Oh."
true. They didn't have that.
They put all the budget into making Luke Sword eat shit.
But I still liked how they included every dumb scene of multi-betrayals in that world. Well, no, they didn't. It feels like they did, but they cut out like 80% of them.
Yeah, because what they eventually do is they just look at Sora and they're like, "Oh yeah, the British," and Sora's like, "Okay." Like
I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but okay.
The sea should be free for everybody.
Especially these killers
Let's
and thieves.
let's drive our 2 boats next to this other boat and blow this guy up.
The Brethren
for
Court is
everybody.
calling. You never see them.
I think Shipwreck Cove would have been great, but that world is still my favorite. It's still so good, and it exceeds what I ever would have expected a
They
Kingdom
put
Hearts
a different game
to do
in
for the
Kingdom
world.
Hearts multiple times.
Right, like that's the one world I saw the trailer for and was like, I hope it's like this, and it actually was.
Yeah.
I wish that the others could hit that fever pitch, but it's
I mean,
okay.
just doing it once was incredible to me.
Right.
The wow moment of that was exploring an island and going, wait a minute, what do you mean I can air step 5 miles away onto the ship and instantly be back on?
I know,
Yes,
it's such
it
a
was so
good
good.
fucking feature.
And that hit me too when you can do that to travel up floors in the toy store.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really good modern sensibilities applied to this game.
Yeah, there's no quality of life except the fucking
The
map
map.
button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
That's
the
the
hell
only
were they
thing in the
thinking?
entire game that I felt like
There
I
is a
needed.
map in Pirates.
Yeah, that's the only one.
There's
It's-
a map in Dream Drop Distance, but
Yeah.
they replaced that button with the camera.
No, we couldn't find another button. That'd be impossible.
that's
What about hitting the
impossible.
left side of the touchpad?
It doesn't
No,
use
not that.
it doesn't use the click sticks for anything.
It does in the gummy
It
ship.
Not
uses
You
the
hit,
normal
right one
gameplay.
for camera.
Yeah, right one snaps camera, and in the Gummy ship, hitting L3 makes you do a U-turn.
Yeah, but they could give. I guess it couldn't be L3 because that might get accidentally pressed. So it's best to leave that empty a lot.
Click both sticks could have been a.
Yeah, that could have been it. Or what's the left trigger?
They could have done. Left trigger is cycling through situation commands.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. What's L1?
That's your shortcuts.
Oh, okay. So they were out of buttons, but they still could have let me do it from the menu.
When your podcast is so long, Phil forgets what the buttons are.
So my closing comments on Kingdom Hearts 3 is that I had a fucking blast with the game. The writing is so good for fans of the series, and it's really, really funny in a way where it comes off as effortless. It's like every scene's true to these characters and so funny on top of that.
Not insulting comedy.
Right.
That can also make fun of itself in a tasteful way.
Right. Like, it's self-aware without being, as Phil said, terrible about it.
It doesn't belittle itself.
Right.
It doesn't destroy the universe to do it.
And it also doesn't cheapen any of the moments in order to do it.
This is a thing, I'm going to say this real quick about ironic humor. I think your fans are going to be invested in your thing, and I don't think they really like it when you tear it down for cheap laughs.
Right.
And I think that's why the ironic humor in this works, and it doesn't in Borderlands 2.
Like, Larksy makes fun of the fact that the organization is composed of all the same people.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But it works because she's a bitch. Of course she would say that.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm playing Borderlands 2, and it goes, whoa, I die and I respawn? What kind of jackass thought of this? Am I right? I'm a witty gamer.
That is verbatim. Good job on remembering that. Not only just the words, but the exact tone. But yeah, I cannot fathom playing this game without having played any of the others, so I'm really looking forward to that Let's Play with Aggro.
I
can't begin to wrap my head around it. Like, because there's so many scenes where it won't make sense. Me talking about graphics technology makes more sense to Feel and KZ than a Kingdom Hearts cutscene. Kingdom Hearts 3 cutscene will to Aggro, I feel.
The last 6 hours of this game are let's pay off the setups of the previous 9 games.
And that's why I think this is going to have to be our first Let's Play with a face cam, because his exact expressions per cutscene may be very important.
Now,
like, if it were just...
That reminds me of one scene that I feel like is the perfect way to illustrate people who care about Kingdom Hearts and people who don't, is when they flash Kingdom Hearts 2.9 on that screen.
Oh, it's so good.
I lost my mind.
Where fans go, oh shit, it's because, 0.2 ends with a cutscene called 2.9, and technically they're not in the 3 stuff yet, and this is Nomura being a crazy auteur insane man, and the people that don't care go, it took him 15 fucking years, this is stupid. I drink pain and mercury.
I'm really glad we hid this condescending impression of everyone who doesn't like Kingdom Hearts at the tail end of part 2 of an insane podcast about gushing about it for fucking, when combined, I don't know, 3 hours?
Sometimes you have to destroy those with the lowest of IQs.
Bury it in the most obvious place they'll never find it.
Master Xehanort was right. We need Kingdom Hearts to purge all the people who don't like Kingdom Hearts.
Is that why he was bringing it back? He was like, I love Kingdom Hearts, and other people were like, meh. He's like, oh, okay, you people, you need some Kingdom Hearts. One moment while I get it.
Jim Sterling is just like, why can't it just be Disney adventures? And then a light from Kingdom Hearts immolates him.
That one review that gave the game a 4 out of 10 saying, why couldn't it have the writing on the level of Joss Whedon?
What? That's real?
Yeah, that's
You
real.
waited this long into this podcast to tell me about such horrors? Oh
Yes.
my god!
Shout out 4 out of 10. It didn't have the funny writing of Joss Whedon or Brad Bird.
I cannot have just made fun of you two for condescending to people and then immediately react to this, so I'm not gonna react. You can't make me.
Is that the same review that also is upset about the big zippers?
Are you serious? That's it? What?
If I find this man, and this is a joke, this isn't real, this is a joke, I'm gonna choke him.
I love. It's a joke. Please, it's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a choke. It's a choke.
Before we end this, I
Yeah.
need to find the blurb for his thing because it's the most incomprehensible.
Which
No
one? The
way.
Joss Whedon part?
Just what appears on Metacritic for the game because it's the.
I'm gonna get the
only-
Joss Whedon thing to hurt Dan with real quick. I'll read it aloud to him.
Bob, I binged so many Kingdom Hearts games for these two and for everyone, and this is
Dan.
what I get.
Dan from Video Gamer. Kingdom Hearts 3 is overflowing with heart and mostly unconcerned with the head. As such, it's in dire want of wickedness.
Wait,
What?
It's not smart enough to be on the level of Joss Whedon? Is that?
Here's the in Kingdom Hearts there is no such secret thrill. The wryness of how is that it?
Yeah.
Wryness.
Yeah.
The wryness of writers like Brad Bird, Joss Whedon, and Andrew Stanton are absent. I'm a pretentious douchebag, and the game's narrative is focused squarely on the youth of its audience, with its eyes looking downward. I'm a fucking pretentious moron, and none of my family likes me. Only they needn't be. The youths yearn for complexity, like Joss Whedon sexually harassing his stars, and consents when all is pat and potted for them. Kingdom Hearts 3 is overflowing with heart and mostly unconcerned with the head. As such, it's in dire want of wickedness. My dad wishes I'd get a real job.
4 out of 10.
Thank you for listening to the Kingdom Hearts 3 Spoilercast. As always, these podcasts wouldn't be possible without your support on patreon.com/GBpodcasts. Be sure to go over there to support us and look forward to our next Spoilercast and upcoming gamer premonitions.
Okay, Bob.
What's up?
We're doing it.
What am I supposed to say at the beginning of this? Like the
You're supposed to say that this is the GigaBoots executive producers. That you're supposed to thank them.
this month's GigaBoots executive producers for February 2019 are Vincent Poverk, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Brendan O'Sullivan, Star Falcon,
Even if you say it right now, it's that one.
Spaceman Spiff, Prince Van Space, Danny Richardson, Dryzar Wardonis, Shadow in the Darkness, and Shadow in the Darkness. Thanks to our executive producers, and also these guys. Oh man, where'd they go? They're so quick. You think they'll be back?
No. Tell them they can go to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.
Go to GigaBoots.com and become a patron. Yeah, you can go to GigaBoots. You can go to Patreon.com and become a patron of GigaBoots.
We're letting you do that. You're welcome.
It was great. It would be great. Thank you for doing it. I'm sure you've already done it.